Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of Okoro the Parrot. This is the Vulture's Quill and the jungle's Hypocrisy. Today I have dusted my feathers and sharpened my beak, for the jungle has served us yet another baffling dish of irony. Once upon a time, the great green, white-green forest bore witness to a grand spectacle, not one born of goodwill but of pressure. The vulture, reluctant to leave his pet after 9 moon seasons, found the winds of the jungle shifting. The creature, tired of its endless reign, roared for a contest. And so, with great reluctance and under the weight of watchful eyes from distant lands, the vulture spread his wings and declared, "Let the race begin." The lions, the cheetahs, the gazelles each raced with all their might, but in the end it was the fastest, the wisest and the most beloved who triumphed. The jungle erupted in joy, for justice had spoken. But as the rightful victor approached the throne, a familiar shadow loomed. The vulture, unwilling to surrender his greed, flapped his wings once more and screeched, "This election is wrought with irregularities. It is hereby annulled to save the jungle." And so the will of the jungle was overturned, despite it being the fairest race the jungle had ever seen. For the rightful victor, knowing that justice once spoken cannot be unsaid, refused to bow. With the spirit of the ancestors behind him, he declared, "If the throne is mine by the will of the jungle, then I shall take my place." The jungle stared, and the creatures, enraged by the vulture's treachery, gathered in defiance. Their chants shook the very trees, the rivers swayed with fury, the winds carried the call for justice. But the vulture, afraid of the storm it had created, struck with all the force of its talons. The victor was shackled and his voice strangled. His body was caged behind iron binds, and as the jungle rose in protest, the vulture unleashed his beast of war, drowning the land in sorrow. The rivers that once carried songs of freedom turned red with the blood of the fallen, and in the end, even the rightful ruler, the one who dared to reclaim his destiny, took his last breath in the shadows of his prison. And so, even in the darkest of times, embers of resistance glowed. And among the victor's most loyal allies, there were those who vowed never to let the vulture reign in peace. But knowing the jungle was now a haunted ground for the vulture's wrath, they fled into shadows, vanishing beyond the rivers and beyond the mountains, into exile. And from distant lands they watched, they waited and they planned. And many seasons later, in a twisted irony, after the wings of the jungle had shifted severally, the jungle has placed one of these exiled creatures upon the very throne. But tell me, my feathered friends, does this mean the jungle has healed? Or have the ghosts of the past barely found a new patch? And many seasons later, what do we see? The same vulture, now old and frail, and burdened by the weight of time, emerges once more, not to account for the rivers of blood it spilled, but to unveil a scroll of self-praise. And lo, the creatures of the jungle, the very ones who were betrayed, whose voices were stolen, whose dreams were crushed, now gather in applause. They call him a sage, an elder, and an inspiration. Is this not the height of hypocrisy? Oh, what a tragedy that the same talent that tore through justice now holds a golden quill, rewriting history while the jungle nods in approval. Does time turn treason into wisdom? And so, my featherless friends, the owl watches in silence, and the lion grits his teeth. When the vultures become the scribes of history, then the truth is on its way into oblivion. For as long as the truth is alive, the wounds of the jungle cannot be buried in roots of deceit. This is Okoro the Parrot, signing out.